And joining us now is Robert Baer, one of the most accomplished agents in CIA history and the winner of the Career Intelligence Medal. He's the author of 4 New York Times bestsellers, including The Devil We Know, dealing with the new Iranian superpower. He's considered one of the world's foremost authorities on the Middle East and is an intelligence and national security affairs analyst for CNN. And his latest book is The Perfect Kill, 21 Laws for Assassinations. Welcome to Background Briefing, Robert Baer.
Good to be back.
Well, thank you, Robin. What do you make of Donald Trump's appointment of Richard Grenell as the acting head of intelligence, the Director of National Intelligence, who oversees all the intelligence coming from the 17 different intelligence agencies that the U.S. has?
Well, what Trump's got to do going into the election is get control of the message that comes out of the intelligence community. And so that national assessments, when they're done, aren't going to look bad for him. Let's say there's one to be done on Russia, and Trump doesn't want it out. He can get Grenell to just stop it, saying it's inadequate. For whatever reason, it's inadequate. It doesn't work. I mean, Trump doesn't want an assessment coming out about Iran, about how they still have the upper hand in Iraq, and all sorts of reasons. And if you're turning the intelligence community into a propaganda machine, Grenell's the perfect guy.
Well, he's basically a right-wing communicator, for want of a better description, and a hitman and an ideologue. And his tenure as U.S. ambassador to Germany was completely counterproductive. The Germans found him so offensive. He praised all of these right-wing neo-fascist leaders in Europe. It didn't go down well with Angela Merkel, who's trying to stave off the Alternative for Deutschland, the AfD, their sort of neo-Nazi party. So, and apparently the doors closed all over Germany for him. So he was totally useless as an ambassador. But he's an ideologue. And are you suggesting, though, that the intelligence services will, if they report on Russia and Russian interference, which the former head of the FBI recently testified, Robert Baer, that not only are the Russians still interfering with our elections, they'll do it more so in 2020. So the expectation is that there will be an amped-up effort on the part of the Russians to help Trump in the 2020 elections. So will Grenell be able to corral that intelligence so that the American public don't find out how much Putin is helping reelect Trump?
Oh, absolutely. There's so much of this raw intelligence is never sees the light of day. It doesn't mean it's not important. It's how you package it in analysis. And if it's for Congress, you're limited to 2 pages. But the point is, this is all very shapeable. And it's the only reason why they would have him there. And hey, McGuire was subservient to the president. He was the president. He's the guy in there right now, was subservient to the president. But as Trump goes along, he's just destroying one institution after another, whether it's the Department of Justice, the FBI, the CIA, or the DNI, the Director of National Intelligence. And he's just he's a wrecking machine, a one-man wrecking machine, and he just doesn't care. And, various international crises, any one of them could come up, between now and November. And he's got to control that message. And like I said, Grenell's the guy to do it. I mean, he's as far as we know, he believes in just the wildest conspiracy theories. And you're right, he did inflame the German right, and we had this shooting yesterday. It was neo-Nazi groups are coming to the fore in Germany because of immigration. Yeah, so I mean, this is, just one more step in destroying the United States government. I mean, Trump basically said he would, and that's what he's doing.
And is he doing it at Putin's behest, or what's his motive for destroying the United States?
I think it's just for him. Everything's transactional. I mean, if Putin, and he's so impulsive, Putin whispers in his ear saying, "Look, the CIA and the FBI are filled with old Cold Warriors. They don't know what they're doing. They're making this stuff up." He'll fall for it because he's so enamored of these dictators. Mm-hmm. And since he doesn't read, he certainly doesn't read raw intelligence or even care about intelligence at all, it's the last person that talks to him. So I'm not even sure the Russians could control him, but the point is, it's visceral. It's just deep inside of him that he's out and despises Washington, and of course despises Obama and anything to do with his predecessors. But more than that, he's got to get reelected, and this is an important piece to it, the intelligence community.
And again, I'm speaking with Robert Baer, one of the most accomplished agents in CIA history and the winner of the Career Intelligence Medal. He's the author of 4 New York Times bestsellers, including The Devil We Know, dealing with the new Iranian superpower. And he's considered one of the world's foremost authorities on the Middle East, and is an intelligence and national security affairs analyst for CNN. And his latest book is The Perfect Kill, 21 Laws for Assassinations. So the current Director of National Intelligence, Admiral McGuire, who has been completely supine, of course, under the law, since he's acting, he's out of that job on, I think, March the 12th. So they had to put this new guy in. And this is the game that Trump is playing, where he has acting cabinet heads who don't have to be confirmed by the Senate. So
he doesn't want these guys going before the Senate and being questioned.
Right.
It's just like they don't hold press conferences anymore. He's going to do exactly what he wants to do. And Ian, it's not like his poll numbers are going down. I have to assume those polls are pretty good, and he's pleasing the base, and the base hates anything to do with Washington. He's a pure blowtorch of revenge, and of course, the intelligence community is totally demoralized, just like the FBI.
So he's pretty much whipped the FBI, hasn't he?
But yeah, and the Department of Justice, too. They're terrified right now.
Right. And
terrified.
these guys have got kids in school and pensions and mortgages, etc. Is that what's keeping them in line?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, if you're Department of Justice and you're going to spend 10 years there and take a big job in a law firm, you can't go with a blemish on your record, because you won't get hired. Even under Trump, it hurts. So the best thing is just to move out of sensitive jobs, keep your head down until you can move on. I mean, this is the same thing that happened in Germany in the early 30s. We'll get through this. This can't be real. We're not going to cause waves, and eventually Adolf Hitler is going to go. But rarely do these things go that way.
Well, is the problem then in terms of avoiding the Senate having to confirm these people by having acting heads of these various agencies that, you've got Department of Defense and acting head, for example. So is this to do with Mitch McConnell? In other words, we didn't have Mitch McConnell there. Maybe somebody that actually cared about the prerogatives of the Congress and oversight might do something. And furthermore, my understanding is that the money that's been appropriated for election protection to help stop the Russians from changing the election results in Trump's favor, McConnell is holding that up. They'll do anything to get elected. If you look at Democrats and liberals as the enemy, and all you have to do is defeat them, and that's your only mission, then if the Russians want to come along, or anybody, they just want to turn a blind eye to it. I mean, Washington's not fact-driven anymore. I mean, it never was completely, but it's just getting worse. Trump just picked up a trend and ran with it. Well, the judge today, by the way, in the sentencing of Roger Stone, made that point at the end of her. She spoke for about an hour, dressing him down, along with the Justice Department. In the end, she said, that truth matters. Truth matters.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to an uneducated electorate, or an electorate that's so angry that it's oblivious to fact. That's the problem. I mean, this ability to embrace conspiracy theories, which there's absolutely no basis for, like a conspiracy inside the FBI, the deep state. It's just insanity. I mean, there's not even there's more evidence for the grassy knoll and the Kennedy assassination than there is by the way, there's none, than there is a deep state. It's how we got there. Someone's got to write a book about this, explain psychologically what happened to the American intellect, how fast it went downhill.
But you were saying earlier that this new acting head of the Director of National Intelligence, Richard Grenell, he indulges in conspiracy theories?
Well, they all do.
Uh-huh.
Everybody in the Trump administration does. I mean, from Giuliani through with them, all this Ukrainian insanity, and Navarro and everybody else. Every time they appear on TV that I see them, what they have to say is just goes against facts. It's not even good right-wing politics. It just goes against facts completely. And this is what I'm getting back to is I need somebody to explain this to me. Why people? It's not liberal or conservative. It's just a very weird time in this country, and Trump is taking advantage of it. And it's even to get weirder when he gets the reins of government over the next 5 years and truly controls them. It's going to get very strange.
Well, just in the last couple of minutes, we know already that Adam Schiff has complained that the NSA is holding back information about Ukraine from the intelligence committees, particularly from the House Intelligence Committee, which the Democrats control. So far, he hasn't been able to get this material. So Trump is already successfully intimidating the National Security Agency, it would seem. So is Gina Haspel just going to roll over for this ridiculous ideologue who will be the head of national intelligence and ostensibly her boss? I mean, how can she work with a straight face with this sort of right-wing flack, really?
Well, I'm probably in her mind, she's probably saying, I'm going to protect the CIA the best I can. I know Gina fairly well. But on the other hand, her going to this national prayer breakfast and, wildly applauding the president is not becoming of a CIA director. I mean, you have to stay away from this stuff entirely. But, I think it truly is a cult. And there's a cult-like belief in all of this stuff. And when he said that he could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and get away with it, we all laughed, didn't we? Mm-hmm. He turns out to be smarter than we are.
Well, on that note, Robert Baer, I thank you for joining us here today.
Thanks.
And again, I've been speaking with Robert Baer, one of the most accomplished agents in CIA history and the winner of the Career Intelligence Medal. He's the author of 4 New York Times bestsellers, including The Devil We Know, Dealing with the New Iranian Superpower, and he's considered one of the world's foremost authorities on the Middle East and is an intelligence and national security affairs analyst for CNN, and his latest book is The Perfect Kill, 21 Laws for Assassinations. We're going to take a brief station break. We're back looking into the sentencing of Roger Stone today to 40 months in jail.